Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. I'm Timmy Treacle, also known as Horror Fan for Life. And today I'm giving you another top 10 list. I'm giving you my top 10 favorite Corey Feldman movies. Corey Feldman, if you don't know, is a child actor who did a lot of movies in the 80s. He did a lot of collaborations with another Corey Haim, rest in peace by the way. And then throughout the early 90s, he started to slow down as far as doing movies, especially ones that were box office hits and whatnot. In the 2000s, he had a TV show there for a few years with Corey Haim and his mom. And he did do a couple Lost Boys movies direct to DVDs. And things like that. He's trying to do his music thing right now, which I hate to say, but Corey, you really need to stick to acting, in my opinion. I've seen some of your performances, and it's just not good. But it's just my opinion. But I love you as an actor. I think you're one of the best, especially coming out of the 80s. And I really wish people would throw you some more work, especially when it comes to the horror genre. I think you'd be really good with that as well. But here you are. Here is my top 10 favorite Corey Feldman movies. Coming number 10 is The Burbs, starring alongside Corey, Tom Hanks, and Carrie Fisher. This is a underrated movie. It takes place in a small suburban community where they think their neighbors are murderers. And so they set out to find the truth and what happened to their neighbors, the Naps. And it's more of a dark horror comedy in a way. And Henry Gibson is in it as well. He's a doctor in this movie. He was really good. But it's got a lot of great characters. It all takes place in this one little area, neighborhood. And I love it. I loved it growing up, and I love it to this day. I remember watching this movie over my grandma Lawling's a lot as well. And it's just a lot of fun. And Corey Feldman was really funny in it. He was more of a co-star in the movie, but he has some good lines. Hey, no tan lines this morning, huh? Yeah, just he's great, and I love this movie. And actually, I believe I do have it on my DVR. Number 9 is Meatballs 4. If you don't know anything about this franchise, it started in 1979 with Harold Ramis, Bill Murray, and it's about kids going to a summer camp. They're trying to, typical, you want to get laid and just have a blast. And of course, they want to kick the crap out of Camp Mohawk, who is their competitor in this triathlon type events, or games, if you want to say it. Chris Makepeace is his first movie and introduction into film, and he was really good in this movie too. Bill Murray was funny. One of my, or actually my favorite one-hit wonder song is in this movie by David Naughton, Making It, for Meatballs. But Meatballs 4 has Ricky, who shows up. He's a ski instructor who left one job for another, but he comes back to help out the previous place that he started with, because they are struggling financially, and they feel with his help and his expertise that they can turn things around. It's got boobs in it, and it does have some funny moments. It is kind of cheesy, but I really enjoyed this movie for what it was. One of my favorite scenes is he offers this guy a cigarette, and then the guy goes to pull on it, and it shocks him. And he's like, see, you shouldn't be smoking. And I don't know what it was, but I don't know. I just have a soft spot for this movie, and actually, the franchise as a whole, I like all four movies. So, Meatballs 4 at number 9. Number 8 is an animated movie, Fox and the Hound. Number 7 is License to Drive. License to Drive stars, uh, along with Corey Feldman, Corey Haim, or as they're called, the two Corys. They did many films together. You'll see more on this countdown. But it's about Corey Haim's character who is set to get his driver's license. All he has to do is pass the test, written and the driving part, and he'll have his license. Well, there's a problem with the testing part because as he fails, he gets mad and slams the computer and it erases all the scores. So he thinks. So they go ahead and pass him on that part. So he goes to take the driving part of the test. And he's paired with, what's his name from Fresh Prince of Bel Air? The father, or Phil, Uncle Phil, is his driving instructor, which I thought was hilarious. And he takes him out there, and he has to drive all around with his cup of coffee on the dash. And if it spills on him, he fails. If he doesn't spill it, he passes. He comes back, he passes, but they find out that he didn't pass the testing part, and they rip his license up in front of him. His buddy Corey Feldman and another buddy of theirs really wanted to go out and enjoy the fact that he got his license. He lies to them and says he got it, but he really didn't. He takes the car out anyway, who is his grandpa's caddy that they're taking care of while they're on vacation, and their grandfather has their car. Well, he goes out for a night in town, and of course, the high school beauty, played by Heather Graham. This is her first movie. She is so beautiful, and she goes out with them on a night of town. First, it starts off with a date with Haim's character, and she ends up getting drunk and passes out. He comes back, picks up the guys, and they go to Archie's to have fun. Their car ends up getting stolen with the girl in the trunk. They try to get their car back. All the while, they're destroying his grandpa's caddy. And it's just a wild night and a lot of fun. And Corey Feldman is really funny as usual. Yeah, License to Drive, it's a great movie. Number 6 is Gremlins. This is a Christmas horror movie. It's fantastic. It's about this creature, a mogwai, who you can't do certain things with. You can't get it wet. It hates sunlight, and you can't feed them after midnight. Which, thinking back on it now, well, if you can't feed them after midnight, then when are you supposed to feed them? That's one thing that always got me. But, yeah, you can't feed them after midnight. And then once you do, it spurts out these cocoons. If you get them wet, it spits out little fuzz balls, which turns out to be more mogwais. And then, of course, sunlight kills them. What happens is they grow into these big green gremlin things. But they're funny, though. And the scene when they're in the theater watching Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs is great. Classic. But my favorite scene in the movie is when Mrs. Tinkle answers the door, and there are Christmas carolers singing to her. She freaks out, gets on her chair that takes her up the stairs because she can't climb the stairs, and they rig it to where it just winds up and just shoots her out the window. And that is my favorite part of Gremlins. But this is a great monster Christmas horror movie, and the sequel was really good too. But yeah, Corey Feldman was great. He was only in the movie for you know, a few scenes, but it was still impactful and still enjoyable to watch him. Coming to number 5 is Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Now, this is the 1990 movie. For those of you who don't know, Jim Henson's creation, Turtles, they did 3 live action movies. The first 2 of which are excellent. The third movie we won't really talk about, but the first movie really hits home with me because I grew up watching the cartoon, which is fantastic. The theme song is great, and he voices Donatello in this movie because they have actors who are in the suits, of course, doing that, and then they have other actors who are doing the voices, and he voices Donatello. There's great one-liners in this movie, and it's just a fun watch. It's enjoyable. You're introduced to Elias Cortez, who plays Casey Jones. Of course, you get to meet April O'Neil, Splinter, Shredder, all the great characters from the cartoon. And this is one of my favorite movies, especially of 1990. And it's just a fun watch. Corey Feldman, it's got some great lines in there. And it sucks that he didn't get to do part 2, but he came back for part 3, which I thought, I don't know why they didn't bring him back for part 2, but they were stupid. But Corey's great, his voice in him. And yeah, number 5, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Coming to number 4 is Friday the 13th, part 4, the final chapter. Corey Feldman, now he has a great role in this movie. What he does at the end of this movie is great. And if you haven't seen this movie, I'm sorry, but spoiler alert. When he shaves his head to look like Jason is great. And his final fight with Jason is great. This is one of the best in the franchise. In fact, I believe the first 4, and then including part 6 of this franchise, are fantastic. Had part 6 been part 5, I think the first 5 films would have been fantastic. And had they ended it with part 6 being part 5, I think it'd been a great franchise. It still is a great franchise. It is my favorite horror franchise, and Jason is my favorite character. But some of the movies are not really good and kind of put a stain on the franchise, like most movies do for other franchises. They all have their flaws, especially Nightmare on Elm Street. But yeah, Friday the 13th, part 4, Feldman is awesome. My favorite part of his is when he's laying in bed and he sees across the way a couple's getting ready to have sex, and he gets like any kid would that age, especially a boy. And then his mom, of course, comes in when he's still watching. He pretends to be asleep. She sees it. She closes the shade, closes the window, and basically ruins his moment. But that's what mothers do, and that's what young boys do. But that's one of my favorite scenes in the movie, and he's just great in it. Number 3 is The Goonies. What else can you say about this movie? It's got an all-star cast. Who would have thought that Josh Brolin would eventually be playing Cable and Thanos in the same year and being badass in both movies? But yeah, Josh Brolin, Sean Astin, Corey Feldman, what is his name? Short Round, I can't remember his damn name. You have Cary Green, Anna Ramsey, just Joe Pantalamo, I think his name is. It's got a great cast. The young kids are searching for what I believe is gold, and they go on this adventure. They eventually do find the gold, which I think is great. But the adventure is always fun. This is a movie that I always watch when it's on TV, My favorite part is when they're sliding down that water slide and they all come out the different holes and stuff. And this is a movie I adore. I grew up watching it, and Cyndi Lauper for music video and TV, and of course for the movie is great. And it's just a great 80s movie that I'm surprised that hasn't been remade or rebooted. But it's a classic, and Corey Feldman is awesome. Number 2 is Stand By Me. Stephen King's adaptation. This is a great movie. It's based on the book The Body by Stephen King. And these 4 boys go in search of a missing boy, Ray Brower, who went out a few days prior to pick some berries and didn't come back. The police have searched, haven't found the body, so they go in search. And along with them 4 boys, you got an older gang led by Keith Sutherland, who decide to look for the boy as well. But they don't find out about the boy until 2 members of his gang tell them about it. And so there's a fight for who's going to turn the body in, and eventually no one does, and they just call the cops and report it unanimously, so no one gets the credit. But it's got Corey Feldman, Crystal Donald, Will Wheaton, River Phoenix, John Cusack. It's got a great cast in it. This is a movie I'll watch all the time if it's on TV. Richard Dreyfuss is the narrator in this movie, which he does a great job. It's just a fun movie with great child actors, and one I really enjoyed. And Corey Feldman is just great in this movie. Coming to number 1 is The Lost Boys. This is my all-time favorite vampire movie. You have Corey Feldman, Corey Haim, Jason Patrick, Kiefer Sutherland, Diana Weiss. You got a great cast in this movie. It's just one of my favorites because not only with the gore and everything, but the story, the characters, their background, and what they try to do to stop them from killing. Because there's a ton of missing people, and of course, vampires have to feed. But I like what they do in the 3rd act. The killings of the vampires are great. Alex Winter is one of the vampires in Sutherland's group. He was also in a few movies from the 80s you might recognize. Death Wish 3, he played one of the punks in the movie. And more famously, Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure and Bogus Journey. He played Bill. He played Ted. Sorry, I'm confused. He played Ted in the movie, and they're going to be doing a 3rd movie too, which I am looking forward to. But yeah, Alex Winter's in this movie, and the way he gets killed is awesome. But The Lost Boys is a great vampire movie. It's my favorite of all time. And Corey Feldman, the Frog Brothers are great in this movie. But it's just fun. Definitely one of the best in the 1980s as far as all genres go. But it is my favorite vampire movie. And I could go on and on, but this video is getting too damn long, so I'm going to cut it short. The Lost Boys, number 1. So there you have it as my top 10 favorite Corey Feldman movies. So in the comment section below, please tell me, did you agree with this list? Did you not agree with it? Let me know in the comment section below, and give me some of your favorite Corey Feldman movies. And give me some that are not on my list that you think I might want to watch. If I haven't seen them, I'll definitely check them out. But as always, I thank you guys for liking and supporting this channel. Don't forget to like and subscribe today for more content. But other than that, I thank you for watching, and check you later.